This is episode 35 of the Latter-day Saint Geeks podcast. I'm Spencer, and my co-host today is Russell. How you doing this morning?
Doing well. Good to see you. Glad to be with you, and glad to be discussing more Disney songs.
Yeah. Specifically, love songs for Valentine's Day, because Valentine's Day is this coming week, at least as of when we're recording and when this will be released. I thought about doing some friendship songs because I like to do, you know, it's at least after Valentine's Day is over, I like to, focus on friendship goals too, because
Sure.
my wife has always been like, Valentine's Day isn't just romance; it's all kinds of love. So, but for today,
It's
we're
great.
going more the Disney couples and all that. So,
Sounds great. I will. Maybe this is plugging my own horn, tooting my own horn there, but I did have a couple of friendship posts that have come out this month, or at least one this month, and so um, maybe that
yeah, I'll
counts
throw a
for.
link in for that. I really liked it.
Okay.
Some gospel insights and pop culture references about the importance of friendship.
There you go.
All right. Well, let's do our recommendations first. And I had a really hard time with this one because just in our last episode that I did with Joe, he and I were both talking skeptically about your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man that just premiered on Disney Plus. And part of me wants to stay skeptical about it, and part of me still does not care for the art style or the kind of comic booky transitions and everything. But um, as far as story, I'm enjoying it so far, and I want to stay skeptical, but I like what they're doing so far. I think 5 episodes have been released. Their release schedule's been really weird. It's like they premiered 2 episodes, which is fairly normal, but then this week they did like 3 episodes. So I don't know why they're releasing whatever chunks, whatever. But I like that, just like any other Spider-Man story, you get the different aspects of the Parkers and Spider-Man and unrequited love and of all that stuff. Um, and although this takes place separate from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's obviously meant to take place in like a parallel universe because you get mention of the Avengers Civil War and the Sokovia Accords and Captain America and Iron Man and all that. You just don't have Iron Man recruiting Spider-Man. That time period kind of it plays out differently, without giving too much more away. Um, the one thing I'm like, and Joe and I talked about this probably way too long on our Marvel episode, but the thing that I'm still like really skeptical about is their use of Nico Minoru, who you do you know who that character is? Have you heard of that character?
I'm not familiar. Well, I am
He
not. No,
is.
I don't.
She's part of a team of teenage heroes called the Runaways, and
Hmm.
Hulu did a series, live action Marvel MCU adjacent kind of series about the Runaways, and I really loved it. I really loved Nico's character in it, but as Joe and I both mentioned in our last episode, Nico's supposed to be in California where all the other Runaways are. So, I'm curious what they're gonna do with Nico in this series because I'm sure there are other more Spider-Man based female BFFs that they could have used, but
Hmm.
instead they chose to use Nico, and I don't know why.
Interesting.
And I don't want them to just use her as a throwaway name because I really liked Runaways. I really want the Runaways to appear again, all that stuff. So we'll see how that plays out. But so far, I like how the story's going and how it's flowing. Um, we'll see how it continues. Um, Different origin story, but still, you know, still more
Spider-Man
Spider-Man.
ish.
Oh, it's still definitely Spider-Man, but it's different than what we've seen before, at least with what's been portrayed before. But it's still similar enough to Tom Holland's Spider-Man that it's obviously parallel to his experiences. So that much is apparent in just the first two episodes. So that's enough about
Cool.
Spider-Man. I'll maybe write some more about it when the first season ends, but I'll
All right.
pass it off to you now for your recommendation.
And my recommendation is Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. I recall reading the play, and I finished reading the play as I was pulling into the parking lot with some, I think, family members to go see um, the first Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them movie, and I loved reading the play and was like, oh my goodness, this is awesome. And then so going in to see Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, I was in full Harry Potter geek out mode, and it was great. Last weekend, though, I had the opportunity of going and seeing the play rendition in New York. Um, and this was the one instance where the visual portrayal of Harry Potter was better than the written portrayal of Harry Potter. Um, I feel like most of the books, books 1 through 7, I enjoyed more than I enjoyed the movies. This was the opposite case for me because it's a play, and so there's a lot more that you get to experience visually with that compared to just in the written version of it. And just what they were able to do on the play with regards to special effects and transitions and how they did stuff there was just really well done and very enjoyable. And so um, I recognize that that's not an opportunity that everybody can have all the time because it is in only limited places, right? As opposed to a movie version where everybody would be able to see it. But it just was very well done, very enjoyable, and probably going to be the basis for at least one blog post at some point in the future. And it was just fun to be able to see that. So
I look forward to that blog post then. As I mentioned to you before before we started recording, I've not read The Cursed Child. I've read about it, and there are some. I won't call them continuity errors, but there are some discrepancies from how I understand the original series that I'm like, really? Is this how this is playing out? But even if you take those things into account, to see a show on Broadway, like any show on Broadway, is going to be fantastic.
yeah,
I remember going
that's a
when one
good
of the
point.
times I was in New York, I saw Les Mis, and I
Yep.
understood next to nothing about the story. Had to keep whispering to my friend, like, "Wait, what's this? What? Huh?" Especially when there was a time jump and the colorblind casting
Sure.
had a black girl as teenage whoever she was and a white girl as the younger version. I was like,
Sure.
I'm not theater minded, so but even so, it was
Sure.
brilliant. It was wonderful
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
Broadway and they know what they're doing. So
That's it. Yeah. That's it.
so
So
I'd be interested to
it
see
was.
what you write about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's continuity issues as there sometimes are and whatnot, but I mean, I don't know. I thought it
I mean, I've
was a
written
great
about
story.
time travel before and
So
how I view time travel rules, and I can link to
sure,
that.
there's always issues. There's always issues with time
And that was
travel.
the big thing is
That's right.
like the way the time turner was used in Prisoner of Azkaban versus how I understand it was used in The Cursed Child. I'm like,
Yeah,
but
that's true.
I I
I
can't fully judge it until I've read it or seen it, so I'm
Sure.
gonna leave that to you for now.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, moving along to Disney love songs. We picked out a few. We'll see how many we get to. The one I definitely wanted to do because it's beautiful and it's also just in some respects comedic because of Timon and Pumbaa. But Can You Feel the Love
Yes.
Tonight is like, I mean, Can You Feel the Love Tonight from The Lion King. Um, Simba and Nala were betrothed, and then Simba ran away, and then they reunite, and then they have this love song, and then she returns, but no, he returns, but she doesn't, and then Timon and Pumbaa are like, "Oh, our friend is leaving." So, but I don't know. It's very good love song in there as well.
Right.
Um, there's one line in particular in there with like, and I'm not going to try to quote it because it's going to make me feel like I need to sing it, and I'm not going to sing on the podcast. But
Okay.
that like Nala is just musing that like why can't he see the king he's supposed to be? And in a metaphorical sense, I've had my wife say very similar things that like she sees more in me than I see in myself, and I think that's
Sure.
you know in some ways a hallmark of true love. Maybe that's sappy. I don't care, but seeing the potential in each other, in even when the other person doesn't see it. So,
I
what do you
like that.
think?
I think that's a really good insight there. Just because you obviously have like the love song part of the song, right? That's very like the narration of the love song, and then you get to have the insights into what Nala and Simba are thinking about during this whole song sequence, right? And that's kind of a fun thing to be able to see. And to your point, Timon and Pumbaa just kind of breaking down, realizing what's going on, and like, oh no, this is not good for our friendship aspect of things here, right? And so
They're like sobbing
it
about
really
their
is
little
just
fraternity breaking up,
yeah,
and at this,
right,
but
exactly,
in the end, like Simba brings them back to Pride Rock anyways. So and I don't know
right,
about you, but I had some friends like that when I was in the singles ward that like, oh, I'm never gonna see you again because you're married, and I've known plenty of people that happened when they got married. They like, forgot about their other friends, but
sure,
others, it's like the ones that make an effort to stick around. Not everyone's like that.
yeah. I've been I've been the beneficiary of married friends still reaching out to me before I was married, and I truly appreciate that. So,
Well, and I mean, we didn't even become friends until we were in the same married ward. So it's like it does
right,
happen. You just got to put the effort in. You know,
that's right.
got to
Yeah,
balance it. They're as important as marriage is. Duh. You know, there have to be other relationships as well: family, friends, coworkers, all that stuff. So
yep, you're right.
Timon and Pumbaa just need to calm down a little bit.
That's right. So one kind of fun story as well with "Can You Feel the Love Tonight?" I was in a German class at BYU, and we had to do a monologue recitation or something like that, and I actually found the words for "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" in German and recited those for that German class. So that was in German. So that was kind of fun to be able to just kind of notice the difference in kind of the English version versus the German version. And of course, the sentiment is still the same. It's just uh, you know fun to see the differences in language when it comes to these songs sometimes. So
Yeah, but at the same time, the different sentiments come out with different languages. Like I remember listening to Hercules and Frozen and whatever for my Spanish classes. In my Spanish 101, I got extra credit for watching a movie in Spanish. So I watched
sure,
Hercules, and you
yeah,
get because you got to translate the song and still make it rhyme. You get different sentiments
yes,
out of it, even though it's the same thing.
yes, yep,
So.
absolutely, yep. That's a different understanding. Yeah, right. It's kind of fun.
All right, you want to take the next song? Take the lead.
Um, so Tangled, I feel like is one that just has been a movie that my wife and I have really enjoyed, and so this "I See the Light" song, I feel like it's a fun love song in the sense that they kind of discover that, oh, I do love this person that I've been spending all this time with, right? And so that I think is, and you see that kind of progression there along in the song where it starts out with just, you know, oh, we're really excited to see the lights, and they then it dawns on them, oh, I'm actually really excited to be seeing the lights together with this person. And so it's just a sweet little song that I don't know. Um, I just have
I mean,
enjoyed.
we
And
recorded about the I've Got a Dream back when we did our
yeah,
New Year's episode. And
yeah,
I mean, really, I feel like we've mentioned a Tangled song in this is the third time in our four Disney song podcasts. We've mentioned Tangled almost every
yeah,
time.
right,
But I mean,
yeah,
right after the I've Got a Dream song, they have a couple near death experiences that, they share their most well kept secrets, and all of a sudden, and then they just start bonding. Once they open
sure,
up, they're bonding, they
yeah.
dance, and then
Discovering about
and
magic
then and
hair
then
and
the
stuff
song.
like that. Yeah, yeah.
So,
It's yeah. That's a really good summation there, right? Of kind of and transitioning between songs there, right? Just how this one kind of ties everything together. So with
one,
regards to how the love story kind of progresses for Eugene and Rapunzel.
and just the change in how I've Got a Dream. It's very not selfish necessarily, although Eugene's is selfish, but
Sure.
self-centered. Like Rapunzel wants to see the lights. She wants her dream, and then the time in between gets them to the point where they fall in love with each other, and um, when I mean, it takes another near-death experience for Eugene to say that you are my new dream, but
Yeah.
I think he realized that during this song.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think
That's
that's even a
that.
stretch. I feel like it's all but explicitly said that,
Yes.
okay, I want to be with this person. This is someone that I care about now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just well done, right? Seeing, I mean, the tie-in to the lights and stuff like that, and having that as part of the music, I think is really a beautiful on-screen demonstration of it. So
And it helps that Mandy Moore and Zachary Levi are both wonderful singers.
also true.
Anything else you want to say about Tangled or that
Oh,
love
I think
song?
that's a good. That I think we touched it all. I think that's great.
So the next one I had was I Won't Say I'm in Love from Hercules. And it's Meg trying to not have a love song.
That's right. Yeah,
and this one
exactly
always
right.
brings back mem- And this one always brings back memories of when I was a freshman at BYU, and one of my best friends that year, Becca, was not waiting for her missionary, who she later married.
Mm,
She refused to call
there you
him her
go.
boyfriend. She
Yes.
refused to call him her boyfriend, but she wrote him his whole mission, and now they're married with three kids. So
Oh,
3 kids. I had to think for a second because she'd come back and get me if she heard that I got it wrong. But
fair enough.
but I mean, how many times, especially with immature love, it's like denial. Like,
Yeah.
when you're too young, and it's like, no, I don't have a crush on that person. No, I'm not in love. When it's like,
Right.
because
Well, and
preteen or
especially
teenager,
given
it's like you might get teased over it, but then you get all the trauma that Meg went through.
exactly. That's what I was just going to highlight. Like Meg's previous love experience did not go so well, and so she's demonstrating that hesitancy about wanting to say she's in love because she's been there before and been hurt by it before and doesn't want to have that same experience. So, but also recognizes that maybe there is something that she's feeling towards Hercules that she's trying to suppress given her current enslavement to
Yeah.
Hades and things like that, right? So
Well, and just like the
it
last
just,
song was like the epiphany for Rapunzel and Eugene that they cared for each other, this song
yeah,
is kind of the epiphany for Meg that, she's enslaved, she's indebted to Hades, but you
right,
know what? I don't care. I'm gonna not go through with it. And it's from that point on that she refuses to work for Hades and try to take Hercules down, but it's
right,
too late at that point because Hades knows that he can use Meg against him.
Right.
But it's this song that makes that change. That I mean, by the end of the song, she's like, I'm in love, but I'm not gonna,
Say
tell
it out loud.
anyone, you know.
Yeah. Right.
So
At least out loud. I won't say I'm in love.
yeah,
That's
which was kind of the thing with my friend Becca too. That like, you might be, denying that that this missionary is your boyfriend, but we all know it. You might not say it, but we all know it. So, because there
sure.
was the group of us, this group of friends, and I think one night, because freshmen staying up too late get a little loopy because we were tired after maybe after finals or something. I don't remember, but one of our friends started like singing this song to Becca, and she started like singing Meg's part in reverse. It was weird. Like BYU freshmen do not even need alcohol to lose their minds. I don't know what it is, but sometimes when we were up too late, it was like we were sleep drunk or whatever, right? So
Sure. Yeah.
that's the memory that comes back to me for this one. So anytime I see this song come up or reference, I always have to text Becca.
There you go. Shout out to Becca for this episode, huh?
All right. We got two more songs on our list. We'll see if we can just quickly highlight them because we're probably running out of time. Um,
That's how you know from
I want to
Enchanted.
give.
I think is the next one that's
I
on
think
there,
that
and
was
I
per.
think it's
It's a great one, and I mean, we just watched Enchanted in our home because Giselle is always a hit with our 5-year-old. But I think at this point, like you and your wife have been married longer than me and my wife have. I don't know how many years exactly for you guys, but
11.
me and my wife just celebrated our 7th anniversary recently, well, a couple months ago,
Congratulations.
and so I know you guys are even further back than that because you were already married when we moved in.
Yep.
But I'd say at this point in marriage for both of us, it's a good reminder that like, you know, been married for so long, we've got kids, like love is implicit at this point or even explicit. Like I'm, try to tell my wife I love you before we leave in the morning or before bed at night, but showing it is a different beast entirely. Like, and you could cite the 5 love languages. I think there's 5, or you could cite whatever. But you know, Giselle goes through. I don't even know how many ideas about how to show love and how to like care for um, Robert's fiance, even though the couples end up swapping around at the end of the movie, which is hilarious, of course.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
That I think is what makes
still a
this
good
song
lesson.
fun, right? Yeah, is the fact that she's highlighting how you show you love someone, and it's she's trying to give advice to somebody for showing love to somebody else when eventually they both end up together, right? So
Yeah, it's still very applicable, especially after being with the same person for a while. I mean, I'm not even talking about like steamy romance necessarily, but just being able to like keep showing, your spouse that you love them, even when it should be implicit, but it still needs to be explicit.
I
From
think
everything
this
I've
song
experienced,
highlights.
everything I've read, it just needs to keep happening.
Yeah, this song highlights that the little things really are the big things, right? Just the
Hmm.
um, little things that Giselle highlights throughout that. I think that's how you show that you're still in love. So,
Like I even think back to like when me and my wife were dating, we didn't do a lot of fancy dates, but we were like, we watched a lot of TV together. We watched a lot of Friends, but we had our phones away and we snuggled a lot more than we do now. Which it's not a problem that we have our phones out, but we still need to make time to put them away and like whether it's the same kind of we snuggle on the couch and watch a show or whether it's we go on a date or whatever. Got to revisit those things that built the foundation, right?
sure, absolutely.
Anything else you want to say on that one?
think you covered it.
All right. I'll mention the last song on my list just mostly in passing because it's kind of a funny memory one again. But A Girl Worth Fighting For from Mulan. And it's such a dumb song, really, that, Mulan's new friends are singing about, like, finding the girls of their dreams, while Mulan's like, I am a girl, don't look at me. Um, and Oh, yeah. Russell's just pulled out his daughter, and just like that, that's how the song ends. The whole song is talking about a girl worth fighting for, talking about like romance or marriage or whatever, but it ends abruptly because of a little girl that they all found is worth fighting for because they found the village that was massacred. So
Yep,
there you go. A girl worth fighting for right there on your lap.
that's right. That's right. It.
And I
I think
know,
the
I know.
girl.
Without going into your personal details, I know that you guys fought for her. So I'm glad that you have her now.
Yeah, that's a good tie-in there that I hadn't considered with this song. So there are.
Yeah,
It is very humorous just to see kind of the different takes on qualities that the different characters admire in the girl that they're worth fighting for, right? And I
mm,
like your tie-in that the girl that is worth fighting for changes over time, right? And
yeah,
once you find your spouse and find your children and things like that, that those become the people that you fight for. So
mm. Well, and since it is Valentine's Day this month, I mean, I'll reiterate again. My wife has always wanted Valentine's Day to be more than just me and her. And I mean, I've know plenty of people that they don't like Valentine's Day because of this or that, expectations or whatever. But my wife has always wanted it, and it sounds like her mom always did a good job of like Valentine's Day was a time that her mom made the kids feel special. So that's something she likes to do for our girls is make sure that they have nothing extravagant, but that they feel special on Valentine's Day. Doesn't mean that I'm not gonna pick her up something for Valentine's Day, but it means that it's more than just that.
yeah, that's very
Love
sweet.
kind of
I remember you
evolves and
sharing that.
definitely grows.
Yeah, that's great. I like that. That's a good incorporation of the whole family, right? So it's good.
All right. Anything
It's a
else you want
really
to
really good set
mention?
of songs there. As always, Disney usually is pretty good at delivering songs for every occasion, and this is no exception. So
Definitely. All right. Well, I think we'll just sign off with Happy Valentine's Day. Enjoy your families. Enjoy spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, wherever you are, whoever you are.
happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you for listening to the Latter day Saint Geeks podcast. We're members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter day Saints, but we don't represent the church in any official capacity. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and to review us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Select episodes are available on our YouTube channel. Show notes and additional content are available on our blog, latterdaysaintgeeks.com. Intro and outro music were provided by David Schradell.